And joining me now is Democratic Congressman Adam Smith, ranking member of the House Armed Services Committee. And Congressman, this is the second strike allegedly targeting Venezuelan drug cartels this month. What's your reaction, and is congressional oversight required for this? We've seen both administrations from both sides of the aisle take action without seeking congressional approval.
Yeah, and this is an appalling situation. I think your guest explained it very well. It's clearly illegal. It's the President of the United States simply deciding to execute people based on his whim, on whether or not he decides to do it. This is President Trump also dragging us potentially into another endless war. He has not stated any objective, any endpoint to this. So apparently he's now decided that he, as president, can order the killing of people if he decides that they're somehow involved in drug smuggling. That is an enormous expansion of presidential power that the Constitution clearly opposes. And Congress has not been consulted at all. There is no evidence that has been provided whatsoever that they are even striking what they say they're striking. Basically, the president is saying, take my word for it, I can do whatever I want. And this is part of the larger theme of President Trump just basically ignoring Congress, ignoring the Constitution, ignoring the law, and concentrating power in his own hands. We are basically no longer a constitutional republic with Trump president. He is a apparently democratically elected monarch. So there's been no explanation. This is a dramatic expansion of presidential authority, and all Americans should see the risk and danger in allowing this to continue.
Congressman, what makes this different in your mind than what we saw under the Obama administration with extrajudicial killing of terrorists without congressional approval? Why is this different to you?
Two things. One, those things that were done, by the way, with multiple administrations, from Bush through Obama and Trump and Biden, there is an authorization for use of military force from 2001 in response to the 9/11 attacks. Number one. Number two, in many cases, one of the strikes that President Obama undertook was against a man named al-Awlaki in Yemen. He had put bombs on 2 airplanes that had been diverted at the last moment coming into the United States of America. That was an imminent and direct military attack on the country. Every president prior to Trump has offered up a legal rationale. Now, people will disagree with those legal rationales. Well, did the 2001 AUMF really apply to this particular situation? Was Article 2 really legitimate in this situation? But here, there's no effort by President Trump to even justify it in any sort of rational way.
Well, to that point, Congressman, sorry to cut you off there, but to that point, the Trump administration has claimed that this is self-defense as a legal justification for the first strike, and saying that drug cartels do pose a threat to our country. If these are indeed boats ferrying deadly drugs into the U.S., is attacking them an act of self-defense?
Yeah, it's not. The law isn't if they pose a threat, as loosely defined. It's if they pose an imminent violent threat, if they are attempting to attack the United States of America. Now, yes, drugs are a huge problem, and we should be focused on stopping drugs from coming into the country. But think about it. If the President of the United States says that he has the authority to kill anybody involved in the drug trade whenever he wants, that is an enormous expansion of power. And no, one drug cartel moving drugs towards the country is not an imminent violent threat to the U.S. That's point number one. Point number two, again, they haven't even proven that that's what this was. They refused to brief Congress to show us the intel that says, here's how we knew who these people were and what they had. So he's acting unilaterally in a way that I think is illegal and incredibly dangerous.
As we've reported on a different subject here, Israel is carrying out its ground offensive in Gaza City today. You've called for the U.S. to leverage certain arms sales to Israel over the humanitarian concerns in Gaza. Israel claims this operation is necessary to deal a blow to Hamas, try to free the hostages. So how should the U.S. be responding to this, in your mind?
The U.S. should be putting pressure on Israel to stop the war in Gaza. This war has been going on for almost 2 years now. I remember I was in Israel in March or April of 2024 when Benjamin Netanyahu told me and those with me that the war was going to be over in a matter of weeks. Well, they've been prosecuting the war now for 2 years. They have massively degraded Hamas, not to mention Hezbollah and Iran as well. But military leaders now say there's nothing more militarily that can be achieved in Gaza. If you're going to defeat Hamas, you're going to have to create an alternative to Hamas. And invading Gaza City is not going to do that. I just don't think there's going to be a military objective achieved, and the humanitarian crisis is at a crisis point. It has been going on for a long time now. It is devastating, and some relief is needed. Continuing the war, I think, is a mistake, and I think President Trump should put pressure on Benjamin Netanyahu to stop the war in Gaza.
How can pressure be brought to bear on Hamas as well so that we do see a relief for the citizens of Gaza and we also see the release of the hostages?
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. And look, I have supported Israel for a long time in this conflict precisely for that reason. Hamas has driven this conflict, make no mistake about it, but pressure has been put on Hamas. They have been decimated by Israel's attacks, not to mention that their supporters in Iran and Hezbollah and elsewhere have been dramatically weakened. We're just in a different place now. And I'll tell you, the best way, as I said, to weaken Hamas is to support Palestinian alternatives to them. As long as Hamas is the only game in town, they can bomb and attack forever, and you're still going to have a problem with Hamas. We're just at a different point in this conflict now than we were, certainly when it started back on October 7th.
Congressman Adam Smith, thank you so much for spending some time with us today.